the current planetary transits and alignments are providing quite a bit of challenge to the world and to all of us. That's what I talk about today. I also will make a very important announcement for a gift for my subscribers and viewers, so stay tuned for that. Hello everybody, I'm Tina Chaudry. Welcome to my channel and a very, very warm namaste. Today I'm going to talk about some of the planetary transits and alignments that are currently going on. Now the reason I'm even bringing this up is because most of these the alignments are pretty challenging. They're challenging to the whole world, as you know, the impact that they're going to have on the whole world is going to be a little challenging. It's going to be a little difficult, but a lot of these alignments or transits are going to also be challenging for all of us. It's going to be impactful to most of us because all the planets are involved. So you know, depending upon what Mahadasha, Antardasha you're under the influence of, there's a chance that you'll get somewhat impacted by these alignments, and we become aware of it, and then the impact is less. Otherwise, it's if you don't know that it's happening, then you kind of react to that in a different way. So sometimes I bring these on. I'm not the astrologer that likes to scare people. I generally hate to do that, but sometimes you just want to be aware of why certain things are happening, or why you're behaving in a certain manner, or why you're thinking in a certain manner. And then when you become aware of it, then you try to control it a little better. So let's start with what's the first thing that's happening. Well, it's already started happening since the end of last year, and it's going to go on till April, and that's called the Kal Sarpa Yoga. So the Kal Sarpa Yoga means that the two nodes, or Rahu Ketu, take all the planets within its, between themselves. So Rahu is in Taurus right now, and Ketu is in Scorpio, and all the planets have come in between those two signs. So that's a Kal Sarpa Yoga. So the moon is the only planet because it moves fast, so it kind of moves in and out of the Kal Sarpa. It's a little challenging because Rahu Ketu are considered, Rahu is the head of the demon and Ketu is the tail of the demon. So when all the planets get sort of captured, so to speak, is what the Kal Sarpa means. Kal means time and Sarpa means a serpent. So it's captured between time being captured between the serpent, so it impacts a lot of us where it's considered a difficult time. Generally, astrologers don't like a Kal Sarpa because it's considered the planets become sort of powerless to give you results because they've been captured, so to speak, by the demon, and the demon becomes powerful. So the second thing that's going to happen, or has been happening, is that Mars and Venus have been in Sagittarius together since a couple of weeks ago. They're staying very close to each other, and that's what's considered a planetary war. So Mars and Venus are like fighting. They're in a planetary war and have been for the last couple of weeks. Now Mars is a very aggressive masculine energy, it's fire, and Venus, as we can probably imagine, is a very soft feminine energy and represents the luxuries of life. It represents the finer things of life. And Mars is aggressive. It's the soldier. It's considered the fighter planet. So they're completely diverse energies, and now they're fighting. So we can probably sense this energy within our lives where we're probably clashing. The husband and wife are clashing, love life is clashing, relationships are clashing. Venus represents our relationships in our life also, and Mars represents the fire, the anger, the aggression, our energy. So that's clashing. So unfortunately right now they're in Sagittarius, and the planetary war is continuing. And then on February 23rd, they both move into the next sign of Capricorn. Together they're moving, and so the war continues. So they're going to continue fighting the planetary war for at least all of February. The tight conjunction between Mars and Venus happens on February 11th. So you have to be really, really aware of that around February 11th, February 12th. The other thing is that it's actually contributing to making things worse is the fact that after February 23rd, when the sun moves into Aquarius, it's going to meet Jupiter and it's going to combust. Well, the sun moves in the middle of February, it moves into Aquarius, but on the 23rd, it's going to come very close to Jupiter and it's going to combust Jupiter. It's going to burn out Jupiter because it's very close to the sun. So Jupiter is going to stop giving us some of the benefic results that it's been giving us in Aquarius. So that's the third bad thing that happens kind of later in February. And then right now, as we speak, the sun is in Capricorn. And Capricorn, guess who's sitting there, hanging out there for a long time? It's Saturn. Saturn is sitting in Capricorn for at least a year and a half. It's going to be there for another year. So its sun has gone into Capricorn in the middle of January. It's going to be there till the middle of February. And because it's close to Saturn, it's combusted Saturn. So can you just imagine every planet? I mean, have I not mentioned every planet? So it doesn't matter what Mahadasha, Antardasha you're in, you're getting impact. But actually the only planet that's really not in part of some of the drama is Mercury. So thank God for that. So, but all the planets are really in a very seriously challenging situation, and so they're impacting all of us. Let's talk about how they're impacting the world, and let's talk about how they're impacting all of us. Make sure you watch the next part of the video, because I'm going to give you general predictions for all of us, and then I'm also going to give you predictions, just very quick predictions for all the ascendants, because everybody always wants me to talk about each ascendant. But there's some predictions in this case that are going to be valid for all the ascendants, so just make sure you watch the general predictions part 2, because I'm not going to repeat them for all the ascendants because they're impacting all of us in the same way. And I also have to make a very important announcement, because because of all these challenges, I've decided to do a giveaway or a very good gift for my subscribers. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute too. So let's talk about what the general predictions are for all of us because of these planetary alignments. One of the things that happen when Sun goes into the house of Saturn, which is Capricorn, is that, Sun represents the government leaders and people, executives in large companies. So the, Sun, in the old days, it used to represent the kings, but we don't have any kings anymore. So the the leaders are considered the kings because they rule the country, so to speak. So the Sun represents them. And Saturn is represented by the general public, the common man, so to speak. So that's what Saturn represents. Now this clash between the government and the common man becomes, almost always becomes a problem since last year when Saturn has been in its own house in Capricorn. So last January when Sun came into Capricorn, we saw some political unrest in a lot of countries. So, and that was the result of a Sun coming into Capricorn and battling the Saturn energy. So, we saw political unrest in India. We saw I think there was the farmers, things going on with the farmers, and then in the US there was the Capitol, the people rushing into the Capitol and providing some unrest over there as well. And then in a lot of other countries too, there was has been political unrest. So now this year also, because the Saturn is combust also. So also what's going to happen, we can expect to see general mob, the mob energy. So when there's a mob like that, a furious mob, that represents Saturn as well. So we can expect some political unrest again this year. And the fact that last year Jupiter was involved in that whole Sun coming into Saturn made it much worse. So this time it's probably not as bad, definitely because Jupiter's not involved, but we can expect some political unrest at the top. This is not good for leaders, for government leaders, high-level leaders. This doesn't speak well for them as well. So there can be opposition to leadership. There can be some troubles to leadership as well. So they need to be cautious, of course, about that. But this is very troubling. The other thing that happens because of the Kal Sarp and the fact that all these planets are now in between, and also the Saturn-Sun, conjunction, is the fact that weather patterns get disturbed very much so, and the fact that Moon is between them. So the weather pattern gets disturbed, and one of the things is extremes in weather patterns. So extreme cold. The northern hemisphere can see extreme cold or extreme weather patterns like rain or storms or natural disasters, so to speak, where they're related to the weather. So earthquake, or it could be thunderstorms, or snow patterns or something like that. In fact, I was preparing to do my video right now, and I was setting up my equipment outside, and we had an earthquake right now, a mild earthquake, nothing damaged, of course, but we did have one just an hour or so ago in Southern California. Now, what can we expect as a person? So one of the things, like I mentioned before, is because the moon is also transiting in between the clouds that is definitely some emotional issues, some extreme mood swings can happen as well. Difficulty in relationships for sure, because of the planetary war between Mars and Venus. We can see that as well. Now, one of the things that I'm going to caution you, and this is for all of us, is that, there's going to be troubles in relationships because of, like I said, Mars, Venus, planetary war. So I would suggest that all of us become very aware of it, and we don't get into these fights. They can be damaging for relationships, especially, after the middle of February, when the sun moves forward and combusts Jupiter. Jupiter, rules our lives, our Jivakaraka, and our relationships in some way. Well, Venus rules our relationships, but I've always felt that that Jupiter saves so many bad things from happening. So the Jupiter combusts. So please make sure you're very watchful of the important relationships in your life. You're very watchful about how you talk to others, and you're just watchful about what you do as your karma. Saturn is combust, so your karma is going to be very fruitful right now, meaning what have you done in the past, and you can bear the consequence of it, or what good things, bad things. So it could be a very karmic time. So I think it's a karmic time for all of us. We're going to see the results or the fruits of our karma, good, bad, or whatever, but mostly challenges with our karma, because like I said, Saturn is combust right now. So make sure you're staying very true to yourself, stay true to the divine, or whoever that is that you believe in. And I think it's a very good time to meditate, because that's the remedy actually right now. Is to do your meditation, to stay true to yourself. Don't try to be deceiving. Don't try to be fraudulent. This isn't the time for it. And don't test your relationships to the limit. Don't fight. Don't try to get into that. And if you're feeling mentally disturbed, I would recommend deep meditation. Drink lots of water. That's always a good remedy for the moon. And so try to maintain a very healthy, emotionally healthy lifestyle. So physically healthy as well as emotionally healthy lifestyle. Before I move on to predictions, I have to make this one special announcement. It's a gift for my viewers and subscribers. My channel has done really well in such a short time, so I'm going to give back to a lot of people. So I've decided that once a month, I'm going to give away a free astrology consultation. There's lots and lots and lots of people that are, emailing me or whatever to do an astrology consultation. So I don't get to do too many, but I do some. And so, what I'm going to do is every month I'm going to give away one free astrology consultation. So how can you get that? So it's very easy. For number one, you need to be a subscriber. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and become a subscriber immediately. So you need to become a subscriber. The second thing you need to do is in the comment section, make a comment, and also put your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth. So I need 3 details from you, okay? Make sure it's a complete. If you're missing any information, like you forgot to put your place of birth or time of birth, I can't do a prediction. So you can't be in the running to win it. So at the end of February, including this video, so the end of February, everybody that's done that and just say free prediction, and then your date of birth, place of birth, and time of birth. So it has to say 4 things. Okay? So everybody that has said that in this video and all the videos I make until February, I'm going to take down all the names, and then I'm going to pull out one lucky winner. I'm going to pull out the one lucky winner, and then whoever it is, I will give a personal one-on-one astrology consultation to via Zoom or a phone call. So it doesn't matter what country you're in. As long as you have a phone, I will call you and give you a 1-hour astrology consultation. I will pull out the name at the end of February. I will do it live. I will pull out a name, so you will know. Now, automatically, people, my relatives, my close relatives, disqualified. No, you can't do it. Friends and family, you're not in it. So you always ask me anyway, why do you need to get a free prediction? If you want to share this video and so you can have other people in your family do it, definitely do that as well. So I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to my predictions, but don't forget to like, share, and comment, and make sure you subscribe to my channel. Aries, this is a challenging time for you as far as your relationships are concerned. So make sure you're very aware of the fact that take care of your partner's needs. Don't get into fights and disagreements and arguments with them. Luck, in your ninth house, there's Mars and Venus having a planetary war. So don't test your luck right now. Although Mars looking at your third house gives you very good energy to go after things or put the self-effort in. And dedication or doing the hard work. So Mars gives you that energy, but it also gives you some aggression. So make sure you watch your aggression and don't get into it with people. It does indicate some short travels, of course, but it also means that maybe there could be changes, last minute changes in your short travels. So become aware of that. And also if there's any decisions that you need to make regarding career, because Saturn and then later in the month, Sun will be in your house of career. So make sure that you don't make any decisions regarding your career in a hurried manner. Think through them very carefully. Take the advice, if you want, of somebody that you trust. Make sure you think through things carefully and ask for advice before you make sudden changes in your career. Ketu has been in your 8th house, and it really gives you sudden events. So make sure that you take good care of your health as well. And also don't make sudden changes in regards to financial or investment decisions, because Venus is having a planetary war and Venus rules your 2nd house as well. So no sudden changes, no sudden decisions, and think through things very carefully before you make any changes, and watch those relationships very carefully. Taurus, your ascendant lord Venus is in a planetary war with Mars. So Venus is obviously your ascendant lord, and it also rules your 6th house. So that's your workplace, people that work for you as well. So you need to make some decisions very carefully regarding spending or your investments. So make sure you think through things very carefully before you spend on things, and also before you make investment changes. So think through that. Also, communication with your co-workers or people that report to you, you need to watch that very carefully. And also people that work for you. If you're a business owner and you have people that work for you, you need to maintain those relationships very carefully, because you may say something or you may be very aggressive in your approach to them. So watch that very carefully. One of the things that you may be thinking about doing is buying real estate or moving or relocating. So think through that very carefully as well. There may be some clashes with your bosses or your seniors at work, so you need to be very aware of that. Otherwise, it can cause permanent damage, especially after the planetary war of Mars and Venus after the 23rd. It's going to go into the 9th house, and it's going to cause some changes with your luck. So make sure you're very cordial at work. Keep your relationships very cordial, pleasant, and also with your, especially with your marital partner or business partners, you need to be very cautious of how you handle those relationships. I've said that for all my ascendants, but it's especially true for Taurus, because Venus rules you as your ascendant. Again, if you're thinking about relocation, think a few times before you do that. Otherwise, it's a good time. You might your luck will change after the 2nd half of the month. After the 23rd, you might feel a little better as opposed to the beginning half of the month. But again, think through things carefully and watch the relationships. Gemini, your ascendant lord is Mercury, and it's going direct. So it's a relief for you. But at the same time, Mars and Venus are having a planetary war in your 7th house, which is the house of marital relationships, business partners. So there's clashes. Gemini is going to have the perfect clash at home with the spouse and each other. So, and what is it about? It's probably going to be about spending, because Venus is your 12th lord, and 12th is the house of spending, investments, and basically how you spend your money. So there's going to be clashes at home regarding money and spending and also because it rules your 5th house, it could also be about children. So this is don't all couples fight about that, and Gemini is going to definitely get into the fray and start having those clashes at home. So become aware of that. One of the things is that Saturn is in your 8th house, and so and Sun is over there too. So you need to be a little aware of sudden changes and your health. Take good care of your health. One of the best remedies for Saturn is to stay a little bit mobile, meaning do some physical exercise of some sort. And if you're Hindu, you can do the Hanuman Chalisa, which is very good for the 8th house and Saturn being there. And with the sun being there, I think the sun remedy works beautifully. So the sun remedy is just to pray to the sun every morning when it comes out. So that's a remedy for Gemini right now. But again, sudden changes can be expected in your career as well. So again, be very careful. Venus is your 12th lord, Mars is your 11th lord, and so there's going to be fighting about or changes in how you want to spend or invest your gains. So be very careful about how you do that. Think through things before you do that, and don't fight with your partner, because Ketu has been sitting in your 6th house and it could cause permanent damage. Although people that are not married is probably a good time for them, because Venus is your 5th lord, and so it gets some energy from Mars and looks at the 11th house. So it's good time for love affairs, but not a good time if you're married. Isn't that always the case? Cancer. Cancer, this Mars-Venus planetary war is happening in your 6th house, and the 6th house denotes the workplace, people at work, and in general, people that work for you as well. So there's going to be some conflict probably at work. So you need to be very aware of that. Keep your communication cordial, pleasant, professional. Otherwise, you can get into a long-term conflict with them and may not resolve very quickly. So make sure you watch for that. Otherwise, Mars is looking at your 1st house and giving you good energy. So the 6th house planetary war with Mars looking at your 1st house gives you good healing energy. So you might heal if you've been bothered by certain health issues. You might actually get some good healing energy this month. Somebody may come out and give you some healing energy. Now, why did I say that? Because the 9th house gets activated as well. And so somebody could give you good advice and say, hey, do this, and actually it might help you. So this is a good time for healing if you're looking for some healing from sickness or other things that are bothering you with your health. Now, your 12th house does get impacted by this, so try not to make any investment decisions or expense decisions. Your Venus is the lord of your 4th house, so there's going to be some disturbance at home. This is almost every ascendant. I might as well just have said this as a general prediction for everybody, but for Cancer, Venus is your 4th house lord. So the 4th house is your house, your domestic bliss. So there's going to be trouble over here thinking, and you're going to be stressed out because you're bothered by your partner and what they're doing. So it's very bothersome for you. And as the war continues in the 7th house after February, it gets worse. So getting along with your partner is going to be an issue later in the month. It's going to be, and the war, the discussions and the disagreements are going to be about money and spending, and they can also be related to how to spend your money. So I think there's going to be expenses coming for Cancer ascendants, with expenses related to the home, or they could be related to relocation matters, and there's going to be disagreements on how to do it, what to do, what not to do. So it's all about the home, and the fact that the energy for Cancer ascendants is all about the marital partner, the domestic bliss at home, and money. So this is all what I can say about Cancer. Keep it light, don't fight. The energy will move away after a month or 2 months, and then this will all be behind us. In the meantime, try to heal yourself and just lay low. Leo, you're one of the ascendants that this transit or this alignment is not going to bother as much as it is the other one. So it's fairly okay for you, because this planetary war, the Mars-Venus planetary war, is happening in your 5th house, and the 5th house denotes children, education. So the only thing you have to watch for is don't tell your children what to do, especially as far as their love relationships are concerned. Just kind of stay out of it if you have older children, and let them be, and then all is good for you, because Mars is actually giving you very good energy for the 8th house, which is recovery. If you've been kind of feeling low and you've not been feeling well, now you're going to start feeling a little better. And just make sure you have a good fitness regimen, you have a good eating regimen, and all is good. You're actually going to start feeling really better. Also, in your career, if you are looking for something to change or make changes, this is the time where it might actually happen. So it's a good time for your career, as well as feeling good about yourself, feeling good energy about yourself. Venus is your third house lord. So this is about you feeling good about your siblings, feeling good about, in general, it's a feel good feeling. The only one thing that you really should watch for is your spending, because Mars is going to look at the 12th house, and the 12th house does denote excess spending. So you might get into it with disagreements about how to spend money, how to invest your money, and stuff like that. So kind of watch your spending. Don't get into arguments or difficulty or discussions with your partner about how to spend money or how to invest it. And otherwise, all is good. This is a good transit for you. It gives you good energy. Keep your fitness regimen, keep your health regimen going. So it does provide you a lot of relief if you were having some health issues before. Otherwise, it's a good transit for you. It's not going to be as bad as it for some of the other ascendants. So enjoy it. Enjoy the good burst of energy that it gives you. Just kind of let everybody mind their own. Let everybody, do their own business. Mind your own business, and it's good for you. Virgo. This transit or this alignment, especially the Mars-Venus planetary war, is happening in your 4th house. And the 4th house represents your domestic bliss, your 4 walls of the house, and your mental peace. So it's definitely going to be you're going to be stressed. And the stress is all going to be about your relationships and your money. So this is the month where you're peaked with your stress and you're wondering, how do I handle my relationships? How do I handle my money? What changes should I make? And actually, it's counseling you to do nothing. In fact, just lay low and watch your communication, because Venus rules your 2nd house, which is your communication. The other thing you need to do is as far as your investments are concerned, you can make changes to them at this time, because February is a good month where Venus is also the lord of your 9th house. So the 9th house and the 2nd house are both getting activated. One of the things that you can do is because Venus rules your 2nd house and your 9th house, and 2nd house is your finance and 9th house is your luck. So you can actually make investment changes if you want before the 23rd of February. But of course, anybody should do that, really thinking hard. Now, the 9th house also denotes guidance. So if you can do that not on your own, but get good guidance, it would actually help a lot. So try to get good guidance, somebody that, actually whose opinion you value, and then the investment changes or any monetary changes would be actually much better. So, this is a good month for you to make some changes in your financial portfolio, so to speak, or make any financial decisions. If you can do it with some professional guidance, good guidance, it would be even better. But do it before the 23rd, before the war continues and moves on to the next house. So otherwise, you're going to be stressed about your relationships at home, within the 4 walls of your house. You're struggling with what to do about it. But the best thing I can tell you is, because the 2nd house is actually activated with Venus, and it has to do with communication. So keep your communications cordial. Try to understand what you need to communicate, what you can just stay silent about. And my guidance would be to stay silent and don't push it. And otherwise, the transit is for a short while. It will pass. But in the meantime, watch your relationships and watch your money. That's all this transit speaks about, is relationships and money for you. Libra, this planetary war is happening in your 3rd house. So the 3rd house also represents relocation, short travels, and your energy in general. Energy, the ability to do new things, initiate new things, and self-effort. So you're going to be a little challenged with that. And one of the things is going to be your stress. So you're going to be stressed. You're not going to want to make efforts. And in fact, you're going to tell off other people now. And so this is where Venus rules it's your ascendant lord. So your ascendant lord is in a planetary war with Mars, which is Mars rules your second house, which is finance. So now you're going to get into a planetary war, and you're going to start getting into disagreements with about money. The disagreements about money could be with your marital partner. It could also be at work with your bosses and superiors. Now, I would really caution you to be very careful at work and how you communicate with your seniors, because Mars is also looking at your house of career, and so what you say to them could actually permanently damage your career. So please be very careful how you handle yourself at work, especially regarding money and especially regarding your aggression at work. And I think it could damage, it could be damaging. So Mars looking at your house of career and Venus being in part of this planetary war, it could be damaging in two things. One is your career with your aggression and anger at work needs to be controlled, and second, relationships and your communication need to be very, very controlled. So make sure you don't get into that. It could cause permanent damage. This planetary war is going to last for a while, so this is going to be for another month and a half, where you really need to control yourself. One of the things is kind of try to do meditation, because this is very important for you, because your ascendant lord, like I said, is a part of the planetary war. Keep the balance, keep the emotional balance at home very, very closely. Otherwise, like I said, my Libra ascendants and Taurus ascendants are probably going to be the worst hit by the planetary war, because they're ruled by Venus and they're in a planetary war. So and Mars is aggressive. It's an aggressive fighter. It fights worse than Venus can fight it. So make sure you stay cool, composed, emotionally balanced. It's all about stress, and it's all about emotionally balancing for the Libra ascendants. So stay very, very calm and composed. Manage the Mars energy well. Don't go out and fight with people. Don't go out and tell off people. And by people, I mean literally everybody for you, but mostly your career, because it can cause permanent damage. And also your marital relationship needs to be watched very carefully. Scorpio, Mars is your ascendant lord, and it's involved in the planetary war with Venus. And Venus is actually the lord of your 7th house, which is your marital partner. So guess who's fighting? Of course, you with your partner. So there's going to be discussions, there's going to be arguments, there's going to be disagreements at home. And after the middle of the month, middle of February, Jupiter is sitting in your 4th house. It combusts. So, the 4th house rules your domestic happiness. So after the 23rd of February, domestic happiness is going to take a dive, and here's the husband and wife fighting, and the domestic happiness has gone down. And what is this due to? It's mainly due to finance, and it's mainly due to spending. And also the typical fight will be because over love, so it's also about if you loved me, you would let me spend this, or it's all about the money and the love, because it's typical Mars Venus fight. And so this is the perfect battle for Scorpio ascendants. Is going to be the perfect battle, the typical battle of Mars and Venus fighting, because Mars is themselves and Venus is their partner. So there you can expect some battles to happen at home. Now, the best thing I can suggest for you is to obviously keep your cool. Mars gets very aggressive sometimes. So what's the best advice I can give you? Scorpio ascendants are sometimes, they show that they're not angry, but inside they're seething. And so this is what's going to happen. They're not going to show that anger. They're going to be seething inside, and then it's going to burst. Next month is when the burst of the anger will happen, because the planetary war between Mars and Venus will move from the 2nd house, and it will move to the 3rd house, and the 3rd house is your energy, and that's when it affects your health also, and it affects your energy. So one of the things I'm going to caution you about in February is, because the Mars Venus planetary war is happening in your 2nd house, is take very good care of the food you eat, because that's 2nd house is also the food you eat. So eat very healthy and keep your communication cordial. Otherwise, March will definitely ruin your health. So make sure you take good care of your health. Make sure you take good care of your health, and also watch your communication, because there will be permanent damage done. Now, one of the other things that is going to happen with Scorpio is, because the 8th house is getting activated by Mars, and the 8th house is sickness. It is something, incidents happening as a result of anger. So please watch that anger. I know I've said that Scorpio doesn't like to show its anger, but it's angry inside. It keeps the anger bottled up. So make sure that you don't fall for that. Make sure you stay calm. You could try some meditation if you want to. Scorpios are not good meditators, but you could try it. And then keep your control and keep your emotions very well balanced, because this is the time of emotional imbalance, the emotional and mental imbalance for Scorpio in ascendants. So try to keep that under control. Try to not fight over money. I know it's going to happen, I'm sorry, but try to do the best you can under the circumstances and wait for the transit to pass, and good luck. Sagittarius, Ketu has been, or South Node has been in your 8th house for a long time. So sudden events, sudden changes has been the theme for you. And now there's a planetary war going on in your ascendant lord. Mars and Venus is starting a planetary war. And then after the 23rd, Jupiter is your ascendant lord. It combusts in your 3rd house. This just means, low on energy. You're probably going to be feeling a little low on energy, and then you're going to be a little concerned about your health. So all of a sudden you're feeling low on energy, and then you get concerned about your health, and then you get concerned about your finance as well. So these are temporary things. I think that once the planetary war moves out of your ascendant house and moves into your 2nd house, things will get better after the 23rd. So until the 23rd of February, you may feel low on energy and you may feel not so motivated. But after the 23rd, things may be a little better for you as far as your energy and healing is concerned. But after that, Jupiter combusts, so you may feel like nothing is working out for you. Your luck factor and things at home may feel a little unsettled, but these are very temporary things, because the good thing is that for you, Jupiter is combust only for a very short time, and then it's back up again. And so in your 3rd house, so again your energy picks up very quickly after, the beginning of March, it'll pick up, and then the 3rd house will give you good energy. It will give you, again, look at your house of luck, 9th house, and so it gets better. So for Jupiter, it's a temporary, for Sagittarius, it's a temporary feeling of I don't feel so energetic. I feel like things are not working out. My money's not working out. My relationships are not working out. But then it picks up very quickly too. So you're not so badly impacted like some of the other ascendants are. The impact is longer. For you, the impact is short term, and you'll be better in just a few weeks. So just kind of lay low for that. Do some good meditation practice, emotionally balance yourself, and all will be better very quickly for you. Capricorn, this planetary war is going on in your 12th house, and the 12th house is the house of expense, and it's not just monetary expense, it's also emotional expense. So you're feeling and Jupiter is in your 2nd house, so you're feeling like you've been doing a lot of hard work. The problem is Saturn has been in your ascendant house for a long time, a year and a half, and so you're feeling very emotionally exhausted, and you're feeling like you're the one that's been doing things for everybody, because Saturn in the ascendant house makes you work very hard. It just makes you work hard at everything, whether it's your work, whether it's at home, whether it's family, whether it's friends. It just kind of makes you do service. Saturn represents servicing others. So you might have felt like, hey, I've been doing everything for everybody, nobody does anything for me. And so this might be heightened now because of the planetary war between Mars and Venus. So you might feel like, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, and I'm really frustrated because I've been doing all these things for everybody. Nobody does anything for me. So you may feel a little unsupported right now, but it's temporary. And also, this actually also has to do with monetary, financial spending. So, you might be stressed out about your finances right now and say, I'm doing everything for everybody, my finances are getting exhausted, what is really happening? So it might kind of force you to look within yourself and say, what is really happening? And might cause you some stress. So, just kind of emotionally balance yourself. This is a temporary phase where you question yourself and say, why is this happening to me? And it kind of frustrates you. It makes you low on energy, and mentally it stresses you out. And more than stress, it kind of depresses you. So other ascendants, some have stress, some have anger, but for Capricorn, it's a little depression energy that comes onto them. And again, you have to just kind of work yourself through it, because these are the transits, they just give you temporary impacts. Also, your Venus is your 10th house, so Lord, so it's your career. So you may be thinking about, is it my career? Can I make changes in my career? Will that make me feel better? And so it questions you. And then it also questions your 5th house, which is your children, your education, your love life, and can I make changes here? Can I make changes there? So you question yourself and you think maybe you need to make changes. And just relax. You don't really need to make changes, or you shouldn't make changes right now in a hurry. And just because to get out of the depression, you're trying to make changes or thinking about changes. Now, I know you'll want to make those changes and you'll think about changes, but that's not why you should make changes, because of a temporary situation. You should think more in terms of long term. So just kind of, try to balance the energy, try to calm your mind down and tell yourself it's a temporary phase. And then later, if you need to make these changes, you can definitely make changes, but after you've thought through things very carefully. This energy is a very disturbed energy, and Saturn is combust, and Saturn is your ascendant lord, so it's combust. It's not going to give you the ability to make good decisions. So I would not counsel you to make any decisions right now about anything in your life, because a combust ascendant lord isn't going to give you the power to make good decisions. So don't make any good decisions, don't make any rash decisions. Just kind of lay low. Some physical exercise would be good, and try to do that to just kind of get out of the depression. Aquarius, your ascendant lord is Saturn, and it's going to be combust, and it's going to be combust in your 12th house. So one of the issues that's going to be on your mind is expenses. Like, is everything too expensive? Do I have enough money? So finance is going to be definitely one of the factors. The other factor is going to be, how about my own energy? How do I feel about myself? So you're going to be feeling a little low on yourself, that's for sure. Then here's the planetary war happening in your 11th house. Now the 11th house is gains, friendships. And so, you may feel like you may be expanding your friendship circle, or you may be getting good gains, but you're also not happy about it, because Venus is part of this, obviously, war, and Venus is a Yogarak planet for you. So it rules your 4th house and it rules your 9th house. So, you're stressed out at home. So, one of the things that's going to happen with the Aquarius people is there's going to be lots of squabbling at home. There's going to be no domestic peace for them, and they're always differences at home, no mental peace, so to speak. Also, they're like mentally very disturbed. So even if they get good gains right now, they're not going to be mentally feeling peaceful. They're going to have mental stress of some kind. The mental stress could come from relationships with children, or how their children are doing. So that's one of the things. The other thing is definitely expenses. So they're worried about what's going on with their finance, what's going on with the children, and definitely no mental peace. They can also be disagreements and conflicts at home. So that's one of the things that Aquarius is going to be going through. Their luck factor, it's not going to be so challenged. Venus is the lucky factor, the luck sign for them. This is the 9th house, so Venus signifies their luck factor. It's going to be a little challenge. I would tell my Aquarius ascendants, don't push your luck right now. Try to stay very close to Dharma. So the trick for Aquarius ascendants is to stay close to Dharma, stay close to whoever the guru that you believe in, and try to keep your luck factor going as much as possible. Otherwise, keep it close, keep it good at home. Try not to fight. Try to not get into snits with your partner, because that makes the home atmosphere and the stress factor worse. So that's definitely something that's going to happen for the Aquarius people. Otherwise, watch your spending a lot. You're definitely going to be spending some money, and so I would caution the Aquarius ascendants to watch their spending, and don't try to make any decisions regarding your investment. Pisces, your ascendant lord Jupiter is going to be combust after February 23rd. So you may feel like low on energy, and you need to be very careful with your decision making after that. Now, the other thing is that the planetary war, Mars and Venus, is happening in your 11th house. The 11th house is gains. And so you need to think through very carefully when you make investment decisions and financial decisions. The challenge that the challenge with Pisces individuals has been that Ketu has been sitting in your ninth house, and the ninth house signifies guidance or people giving you advice. And when Ketu sits in that ninth house, it gives you not good guidance. It gives you people that come and give you bad advice or deceptive advice. So it's very possible that the Pisces individuals have been getting improper guidance or wrong advice in the last time. And now with the Kal Sarp Yoga, it's entirely possible that somebody's going to be giving you advice that deceives you. So especially as far as money is concerned and investments are concerned. So you really need to watch very carefully for that. And think through things and consider who's giving you the advice before you take the advice. So it's almost better not to take advice. So that's one of the things that I really need to watch the Pisces ascendants for. The other thing is, Venus is your third house ruler. So there I see some relocation for some of the Pisces individuals. They're thinking about relocation or real estate matters. So your third, fourth house is getting very active right now for the next few months. So there may be relocation that happens or spending on the home also. One of the things that I have to caution you about is to keep your relationship or your communication with your children. So be cautious about relationships with children because of the Mars and Venus planetary war. That's something you need to watch for. But mainly the guidance for Pisces is that your own ascendant lord Jupiter is going to be in the house of spending, and it's going to be combust with the sun after February 23rd. So your spending you need to really watch your spending and consider where you're spending it. So, and also your fourth house is getting activated. So real estate spending, investment spending, all that needs to be done with great care, great thought, and you really need to think about how you're spending your money. And like I said, it's large spending that I'm talking about. So you need to be very careful about. And this brings me to the end of my video for today. Everybody stay safe. I'll see you in my next video.